It's like that. Welcome back to another episode of Survival Time. We finna get into Mamdani'S grocery store situation, which is funny because we're about to watch two basically newscasters, basically or reporters, speak on the situation and go back and forth with each other. But I just find it funny that motherfuckers is actually taking up for this man for doing what he's doing, because you have so many independent business owners that are trying to fight this man and fight against what he's doing. And not even just the business owner, you have the property owners. We're not talking about big companies and major property owners. We talking about small time people, passed down from generation type shit, or these immigrants own this store and stuff type shit. Like, even with the grocery stores and the mom and pop stores that's out there, the bodegas they always speaking on, like they keep talking about how he undercutting them and trying to take them out the game. So it's funny to me how anybody could really take up for this shit when it don't add up in no type, way, shape, or form. But we finna see what's going on.
Today, I am proud to announce a collection of essential staples that will be predictably 30% cheaper at all 5 of our city-run grocery stores.
Okay, Zoran Mamdani taking his new city-run grocery stores a step further. He promised yesterday that the city-run stores will bring down prices for its customers by implementing that 30% discount on basics like vegetables, meat, bread, and milk.
Mamdani says the discount, calculated monthly, will save New Yorkers about $90 per month. Not everyone thought it was a good idea, because it's not a good idea. Conservative podcast host Clay Travis wrote on X, "This is completely insane, also not possible unless taxpayers are subsidizing all the groceries, because grocery store profits are tiny, a few percentage points a year at best."
The mayor's office says taxpayers would subsidize the discounts, but the stores would sell products outside of those basics at regular market prices. Okay, so what is wrong with produce, meat, and things being 20 other essential items that people actually need to just feed and nourish themselves being at a lower price, saving people up to $1,000 a year? $1,000 that people can then invest right back into their communities on other leisure things, like buying the snacks at the bodega or investing in the local movie theater. All the things that would bring forth good things for the economy. There'll also be tons of union jobs now at these grocery stores that people can work in places like the Bronx.
I'm going to try to use logic and reason.
I just gave you a bunch of logic and reason about why these work well.
Here. Why not just make it free then? Why not offer the food for free?
Because the stores need to still operate and make a profit, and they're selling other things.
The
in
government
the
store. The government store doesn't need to make a profit.
Because we can't just go in the red. Obviously, he's a democratic socialist that works along with capitalism.
See, this is where shit get tricky, because I said this about Marxism and the whole Karl Marx situation. You still need capitalism to use socialism. There's no way in hell socialism just thrives. It's not possible. One, two, I hate when you debating with black people, because, and I hate that I have to say black people because I'm a black man myself, but this woman is just being loud and wrong. And I hate when you try to debate with a black person and they just get loud and loud because they think that they loud, they think that they right, but what she's saying doesn't add up, nor does it really make sense. You talking about investing this money when, like he said, why not just make the food free? They do have free food pantries and stuff like that around certain cities and areas. They do have things like that. So what she's saying about like the government and all of this and the red shit, like that shit don't even add up for real, because you have actual places that give away food for free. The government can't do that. And this is still another way for them to up taxes on the taxpaying citizen. People don't realize that, but like they said, it's just going to come back on you with taxes. That's how they're going to end up making up for the profits that they didn't gain.
Like I told you, the democratic socialists are.
Right.
Okay, it's a mixed economy. I just explained that to you. And this is my exact example. So thank you for proving my point that he doesn't just own it.
What are you talking about? The reason you can't just make it free, like someone has to pay for it. Right? Grocery stores are not hoarding some massive amounts of profits. They have very thin profit margins.
According to the conservative critic.
According to everyone.
Whole Foods has a pretty good margin.
Everyone knows this.
Whole Foods has a pretty good margin.
They're offering it at a price. The price is determined by the marketplace, by what they sell it for, what you'll buy it at, where they're still eking out some kind of profit. If a government grocery store is going to come in and sell that at less, that's fine. They're not going to make any profit, whatever. It's the government. But they need to, they're going to lose money. So in order to pay for the costs of providing the food, they just need to use more more tax dollars. So the point is, you're paying for these groceries still. Like, they still have to be, like, they don't just magically appear. the labor cost, the cost of purchasing the food to then provide it to you at the grocery store, that all costs money. They're not recouping those costs because they're setting this below what the market sets. So taxpayers are just paying for it. So this isn't offering people discounted groceries. This is offering people discounted groceries, but then taking more of your tax dollars to pay for it.
We're taking more of our tax dollars. Pete Hegseth is asking for more than $100 billion of our tax dollars for a war that nobody wants. We can take a couple dollars and lower the cost of groceries so that the average family.
Defense is
this war is an option. That's what he wants the money mostly for.
That's a legitimate function of government. Well, I wouldn't pay for that either. So
okay, but that's what's happening. And so we're already doing that with no options because they never went through Congress. So if Mamdani has an idea to bring the cost down, the economy being the number one thing.
This isn't bringing the cost down. This is because taxpayers have to pay for it anyway. Like, the money still has to come from you. Now, you could say, we're going to take all the tax money from, I guess, wealthier people, and then it's poor people who are going to get the benefit of that. But then what you're really just doing is a welfare transfer, which you might as well just do rather than set up a government-run grocery store, which is stupid. But socialists have this fantasy of having government-run things, which never, ever, 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 ever
And
work.
let me tell you, libertarians have this fantasy that governments will do absolutely nothing. It's basically the same thing as the Democratic Socialists. They want no government involvement in anything. They want they're the opposite. No, I'm not. Literally, you want the government not to touch not one thing. You want no taxes, no nothing. So then no roads will be paved. We won't have anybody overseeing anything.
That's not.
Bro, this is why I said what I say about debating with black people, and it don't matter if you man or female. When you are in the black community, if you are debating something that someone does not agree with, it's not about whether or not we're informing each other. It's about who's right and who's wrong. And the funny part is all of this going back and forth, you just listening to combat. You're not listening to receive. At some point you have to listen to receive and hear what he's saying, because you're not going to understand how things are actually working and being calculated. You keep trying to throw out these little fantasy, little whatever ideas. This shit don't even make no sense. Even with her saying the shit about Mamdani got coming out with a plan and Republicans ain't did this, that, and the third. Like, bro, what are you even talking about? Like, so we just gonna jump on the first plan that a motherfucker come up with, and then that's what we gonna run with? Like, that don't make sense at all. That's what we did with COVID, and we seen how that worked out. Now you got somebody on trial for something that they should be on trial for. Then just this is how people think. People don't be trying to go that extra mile and say, okay, maybe I should do my research and see, okay, maybe this might not make sense all the way, or maybe this might work and that might not work. They just want this whole system to just be right. Like, nah, you got to understand how things work within this society, because America is not like every country, and America don't move like every country. That's why I said people got to understand, when you voting for somebody, you got to realize it's a business you voting for. So you need to be voting for a boss, not no fucking punk, pussy ass, peacemaking ass nigga. And didn't some Americans, just soldiers, just get killed and all type of little weird ass shit going on? So I'm not really trying to hear that I don't want a war type shit. Like, fuck that. I feel like if motherfuckers is threatening our president or threatening our flag or threatening what we stand for or what we got going on, get on their ass. Fuck is you talking about? And motherfuckers have pretty much, you feel me, crossed lines and barriers that we can't walk away from.
What I want. If we're going to do this plan, we might as well just give people more SNAP benefits. That would make more sense than creating a store that's just going to undercut if the problem is people can't afford groceries, then if your government's going to do something, then they should just give money to people who can't afford groceries. Setting up some kind of government-run distribution center is micromanaging the economy and does not work. And it doesn't work.
Because if we hand people money, they could use it on anything. In this case, this is going to help and deeply affect the community to make sure that people are way healthier than they were by buying groceries that are unhealthy for themselves.
What they need better than the government.
Better
than you.
There'll be fewer medical emergencies, right? So we're not paying for people that have no health insurance to go down to the hospital because they're eating like crap. Do you know that eating literally is a direct connection to bad health? So if you don't have access to whole foods, like some people.
Bitch, why you steady bringing up Whole Foods? What about all the toxins and the bullshit that they put in the healthy food that we supposed to swear up and down is healthy for us? What about all of the shit that RFK Jr. been trying to ban, but you motherfuckers is getting on his ass about what he is and what he ain't and how he is this and not that, or he taking steroids and all this goofy ass shit? Bitch, you sound dumb as fuck. I ain't want to disrespect her until she got to this point, bitch. You sound stupider than a motherfucker. You can't possibly tell me at whatever age you're at right now that this is how you really think. You got to be the dumbest motherfucker on planet Earth, and you refuse to receive anything that this man is saying, and he actually listening to what the fuck you got to say. That's what's funny. I wouldn't even entertain this conversation 100%. When all of these people just got done being mad about the fact that the government stopped them from buying candy with the EBT and all that shit, what are you talking about? These same motherfuckers that you talking about are unhealthy and eating unhealthy, regardless of the fact of what they do with and choose to do with that money. That's why I said what I said about socialism. The government gets into control and power, and they'll start telling you what you can and cannot do with certain things. And I ain't just saying that with no EBT. I'm just saying, period, point blank. You really don't want the government that deep into anything that you're doing. Not your business, not your finances, not your family, not none of your situation in life. You don't want them that deep. You don't want them to have that much of a say so.
People don't.
Okay, now you want to hold poor people's hands and take away their fruit roll-ups, tell them what they can and can't eat.
Part of the reason I know you hate the word food deserts, and part of the reason that poor people eat unhealthy is because they don't have healthy stores around them.
It's not true.
Yes, it is. There's literally research that shows that that's true. Okay, and so that also is going to reduce diet-related illnesses by people being around options that are healthy at a lower cost. Then they're going to buy these. No, I'm telling you facts. I am. I'm telling you information that exists right now. Just take a quick.
Bitch, if you really want to know why it ain't no healthy food stores in hood neighborhoods or poverty stricken neighborhoods, it's because of the violence, it's because of the crime, it's because of the theft. That's why a lot of stores leave. Goofy ass bitch, like you really don't know what the fuck you talking about. You just speaking out of turn. It just really don't. Like, this is mind boggling right now.
Google, anyone can, and talk about how low income communities have poorer health. It's really simple to understand. And so if low income communities now have access to more Whole Foods at a lower cost, they can't afford to go to Whole Foods. So now they have access to those same Whole Foods at a lower cost. People now have more competition, so capitalists should be happy. Because there's another...
It's government. Government does not provide.
Yes, but everyone doesn't have to shop there.
Because the government can confiscate your wealth to cover its losses.
Everyone does not have to shop there.
You can't compete against the government because it can raise your taxes and take more of your money. So you can't offer a service that's competitive with the government when the government has the power to just subsidize its losses endlessly by taking money.
Do you know
your mom and pop store can't do that. Because they can't just reach into Lindsay's pocket and take more of her money if things aren't working out well. The government can. Okay. So there's no competition with the government-run store. The government-run store can operate at a huge loss. In fact, they could make it free. They could make it all free and just operate at a 100% loss and then pay for the things by taking more of your tax dollars. So we're just talking about transferring tax money from one group to another. That's all this is.
40% of local families struggle to afford food in New York. Do you have a solution for that?
Then give them more money.
Do you have a solution for that? Okay, Mamdani has...
How about this, bitch? Stop having motherfuckers go to Whole Foods. Who the fuck, you know how expensive Whole Foods is? I don't even know why she study naming Whole Foods. Like this, come on now, bitch. Like, I know you can't be fucking serious. I don't even know what all grocery stores is out there, nigga. Because I'm not from New York, but this was dumb. I know in Chicago, we got hella fucking grocery stores. We got Whole Foods, we got Food Plus, we got all type of shit. We got some shit called Aldi's that ain't everywhere, but it's in a lot of places, my nigga. Hey, we got a few motherfuckers. So I know New York got to at least have some other varieties of stores. And if it's not just the mom and pop stores, that's my point. Then if it is the bodegas that they shopping and getting their groceries from for real right now, that's my whole point and key to this whole situation. You undercutting the people that actually need the business, that actually need the flow and the traffic. You undercutting them out of the business. Like, that's just fucking everybody else over. And then you really getting rid of businesses at that point. You really need getting rid of business owners at that point. Like he just said, can't nobody compete with the government, dumbass hoe. You a dizzy ass bitch. And then they done came up with different solutions. Like motherfuckers done said you could write off certain shit as tax write-offs by basically lowering prices on certain things. You can do that. The government can't allow you to do that. Like, people don't really want to take that as an option, but that is a possible option. A bunch of people that came up with different options on what the fuck to do.
Just gave you one.
But no one in New York that's been a Republican has implemented solutions that have worked. And so Mamdani's trying something, and all I hear is backlash and no other solutions imminently. And so if 40% of people in New York City are struggling to afford food because it's extremely expensive not only to live, but to also buy healthy options.
What do you mean struggling? Like, is that the polling question? Is that the struggle? Everyone in the country is struggling to afford food because grocery prices.
Are you struggling to afford
higher.
Food?
Well,
so that's not.
Yeah, my eyes bulge.
No, you're not
out
struggling.
Of my face when I look
You're not in a situation where you're in a food desert and you're buying unhealthy things for your kids.
I don't know that
because you're
40% of people are either.
Okay, but when you have SNAP benefits, some things are excluded and some things are included. Like, for example, you may be able to get $25 of like fresh vegetables, but then you have to get a lot of boxed cereal.
Right, I think that's all stupid.
Okay, but
the
that
more
exists right now.
Okay, well, I would change that. The
Yeah,
more
so Mamdani's
let me
making
speak.
another option.
The more micromanaging you do of people's finances by the government, the more government involvement you have, the stupider and more confusing it gets. It's stupid that grocery checkout lines should have to figure out, oh wait, you can pay for this with money's fungible. So if you've given them the money, it doesn't actually matter. It's just creating more headaches for people to say, oh, you can pay for this with that, but not this with that. No, I would just do direct cash pay. If we're going to do some form of this, just do direct cash payment to people, because people know, what if that month the thing they don't really need is healthier food? The thing they need is to pay the cable bill or the internet bill, because that's what they need. Like, households know what they need and how best to spend their money. And if your problem is, well, they're not going to spend it correctly, then we shouldn't give them money. But if that's not your thinking, I don't want the government micromanaging your lives and what you're eating. By the way, is so far beyond the legitimate scope of government. Is just not the purpose of government, and is not something we should have.
Debate
and
about
that's
how
an
SNAP
ideological
should be
difference.
Implemented differently. And
well, I am debating. I'm telling you how it should be implemented.
I said we can debate about it. I am open to that conversation.
Well, you said I didn't have any solutions. So there are some things we can do that are different.
Yeah, but you want to change SNAP and reform an entire program that exists that's going to take a long time. Obviously, Democrats and Republicans can't even agree on whether people should get covered with SNAP in the first place. So what Mamdani is doing is making a program that works alongside SNAP or other programs,
up a money
so that people can afford healthy groceries in the meantime.
We're finna see what the fuck these people are saying, because apparently Mamdani is being sued right now. So this bitch is really wrong as fuck. We're gonna stop that video. We're gonna get into this, and then I'm gonna cut this shit out because we're gonna get back.
Get ready for a courtroom showdown, because New York City's newest grocery experiment is about to face a massive lawsuit. Mayor Mamdani wants to open taxpayer-funded supermarkets, but local business owners are fighting back. An immigrant-led group called the Multicultural Business Coalition is raising $1 million for a legal battle. Coalition Chairman Frank Garcia says the mayor refuses to sit down and talk, but Garcia warns the mayor won't be able to bully their lawyers. Garcia is even trying to build a bipartisan coalition. He points to doubts raised by Governor Hochul and other Democrats. The big issue? Unfair competition. The coalition says the city stores will sell up to 30% cheaper. The mayor says don't worry. He claims the government supermarkets will offer completely different products. He says they won't compete with the neighborhood shops. Bodega owners aren't buying it. The coalition plans to send a formal warning letter to the mayor's office very soon. The first of 5 planned city-run supermarkets is scheduled to open next year. Expect plenty of legal...
This is my thing, right? If you're gonna sell different types of products, why the fuck are you asking me what sells most in my store? Why would you ask me, do I sell this or do I sell that? Why are you asking me anything about my profits as far as yearly or whatever I'm making based on whatever I'm selling? People will forever be in the blind when it comes to a lot of things, because they're not understanding of what communism is. They're not understanding of what being a fascist is. They don't know what the fuck these words are. They just socialism. They don't understand none of this shit. They just assuming that all of these things are just bad, and or they're good, or whatever the news tells them, that's what they're gonna run with. And then if they favorite influencer or favorite entertainer speak on it, then now they fuck with it. But it's like, no, I keep saying this, niggas were hung back in the day for even thought to be a part of socialism, and didn't none of them white socialists stand up for none of them black men. You have a lot of people who need to understand that socialism runs very deep within the United States, but not on some like is within what we do more so than it is something that's been trying to attack and gain a upper hand in our society as far as like the government and how the government works when it comes to people. The one thing they did try to trick us with back in the day, and why I do not fuck with socialism 100,000%, they could eat a dick up with a hiccup, motherfucker, is the simple fact that they told black people back then that they will be treated equally, and this utopian society will be created for them and us, and this, that, and the third. That was a lie. All of this shit is just a scam, because at that point, we have rulers and dictators at that point. We don't have a government body where we can vote and take this nigga out, take that nigga out, whatever. We got people making decisions. They already do, but it's at this point, they're going to be making bigger decisions than what we understand for real, as far as the majority of us. What she talking about with the 40% shit is so fucking irrelevant, because you have the next 60% of motherfuckers that are about to be able to but they're not about to be able to get groceries and are going to have a hard time paying their rent and are going to have a hard time surviving in New York City once they lose their business or can't compete with the government stores or can't compete with what Mamdani is trying to sell as far as the bullshit he keep pushing up everybody pipeline. You got a lot of people that's going to lose their properties because Mamdani has all these rules where he going to take your shit if you're not doing what he say or you're not up to par the way he wants you to be. So whatever this dumbass, dizzy ass, goofy ass, clown ass, stupid ass bitch is talking about is irrelevant because it helps nobody. The fact that she said what she said just lets you know how she looks at her own people and she look at us like we beneath motherfuckers. We don't need all of this extra shit. What we need to do is figure out how to get our heads and asses from under that thumb that has been fucking us over for all of these years. Because like he said, everything we do when we doing stuff like this, because I told people a form of socialism that we do use is EBT and Section 8. And these things come out of taxes. These things come from taxpayer dollars. So when people be out here trying to just live off of that shit, like, bro, once we start coming out of that zone, that'll help us. That'll be one way to help us. But it's a million and one ways we could go about doing it. And we don't have to do the things that she's saying, because the whole time that'll just make the debt and the things that we already going through as far as the price hikes and all of that go even higher. The rent freeze is going to make the rent go higher. This grocery store shit is not gonna help nobody. It's gonna do more destruction than it will good. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna leave the links in the description because these are two separate videos. Like, subscribe, fuck with your boy. But like I said, America is a quid pro quo society. What you do is what you receive. What you work for is what you will get. Nowhere else in the world is there really like America. And you deserve whatever you work for. People come to America for this reason. People bring their money to America for this reason. People will start taking their money out of America for this reason of socialism if people start buying into this dumbass bullshit. But people gonna learn real fast how this shit work once it actually gets in motion, because it's really not 100% there. Right now he cranking them wheels. Right now he making moves, but now people are starting to kind of see a little bit here and there that this is going to become a problem. And it ain't too many people that's noticing other than the people who own businesses. Only the broke bastards who don't want to do nothing or attempt to at least learn more about society or the area that they live in. Motherfuckers was pointing at celebrities for help and shit like that. And I had to explain to them, you don't press no celebrity for no financial help in your city, nigga. You press your government, nigga. You press your governor, your mayor, you press those motherfuckers that are in your internal politics. Stop sitting here trying to get a freebie from some fucking body. And start actually pressing down and seeing what the issue is. Start seeing where the finances is going in your city. Start seeing why this road ain't paved. Start seeing where the money is going and where it's not going to where you need it to go to. Start actually getting out there and speaking out and having a voice. And stop begging and being bitches out here, because that is not where we came from as a people. I don't care if you black. I don't give a fuck if you white. All I'm gonna say is this: we had the Boston Tea Party and we had the Civil Rights Movement. Even though that was a bunch of bullshit, blacks and whites have fought during this society to make America what it is today. So don't be sitting back acting like you just supposed to take this shit, because the more you sit back and take it, the more they gonna fuck you up the ass. But peace, I'm out.